Hello, everyone, and welcome to another RCT2 review stream. Today we are looking at Bob, which is a design submission by Faas on New Element, and it's a design winner, in fact. This is a recreation of Bob at the Efteling Park in the Netherlands. It's a pretty good recreation, and a timely one, too, since this coaster has since sadly been demolished. Making way for Max and Moritz, a double powered coaster from Mock Rides. So let's get into this nice little design and take a look. And we'll start with the coaster itself. So this is an Intamin Flying Turns model. So this was Intamin's version of the bobsled. It ran with single car trains that seated 2x3, I believe, so 6 person in total. So it's a unique layout in that there were only a couple of Intamin bobsleds, and this was one of the few unique layouts among them. The other two were the same layout. That was the stock model. But this one wound its way through the trees in a different, unique layout, and it's actually pretty nice. I like the use here of the banked corners. It makes it seem like there's a little bit more variation, since you can only do so much with the bobsled coaster in RCT. Unfortunately, there's no diagonals, nor are there a lot of other elements that you can do. So this banking here adds a little bit of dynamic element to that drop and dip there, like a little bit of a corner, even though it's not a full one. So very nicely done there. Part of the challenge with these rides is that there's so many block breaks because of the shortness of the cars, so that you can run as many vehicles as possible. Perhaps a slight criticism, I would have liked to have seen the block brakes used on this. Challenge is the block brakes in RCT just stop the train nearly to a complete stop, which is a little disappointing. It would be nice if those were speed adjustable. But the nice thing is that the dispatching time here is set such that you don't ever really have two trains occupying the same block. So that's good. Jumping over to look at the architecture and everything, Faas's build style is always pretty small compared to how a lot of folks seem to build. So a lot of these buildings just seem a little bit squat or a little bit small to me, but the overall scale across the board is the same, so I like it. So we have this nice Swiss chalet looking themed building here with great little entrance and this kind of iconic wall that was in the front here, covered queue all the way back through to the building itself. I really like these inverted archways with the glass behind it. I think that's a really nice touch. And then the windows all along the back wall here that look out onto the ride itself. There's lots of little just micro detailing here, all the different kind of bricks and aging on the building itself, the little signage pieces here, some of these crenellations on the archways, and the various bits and pieces there. So lots of great details for the whole thing. No like transfer track details and that kind of thing, but I think a lot of that is inside the building anyway, so you wouldn't necessarily see it. What I do like are all the catwalks and the layered lift hill and the various support work, which does a pretty nice job replicating Intamin's pretty complicated supports for this type of ride, for one. So out here on the main pathway, we've got a lot of different things to see. On the one side here, there's a little restaurant with a walk-up counter on the one side that you can kind of see, and then some interior work as well. I like that you can just kind of peeps can walk up and actually buy something from here. A number of nice little picnic tables and everything. Again, building is squat and pretty small, but it's framed nicely, themed well. A lot of this little micro quarter detailing. I mean, this whole thing is basically done on the quarter tile versus a full tile, which is good. I think that looks nicer on the end, and I like the way the tables here are separated from the main pathway, because as most theme park operators will know, if you have this open, all these tables will eventually kind of slide and migrate out into other places. So this is a nice little barrier here, and just breaking up the path in general with fencing here, with planters here, little potted plants here, just breaking up a sea of path into something more interesting. You look over at this side and you have a big circular planter here, big circular here, using the towers, which I think is kind of a nice touch, the castle towers, for circular planters here and here, and then just some other little ones here as well. This little little kind of structure here with the bandstand and some of the other little huts is kind of neat, just because it's using the existing game standard scenery huts, and I like how well it blends into the overall. That's surprisingly well, actually, just the way that fits in with everything. This is neat with all the little lights over top of that structure. So we'll jump over to this side and we see a little park map and our park information board, which is nice. Little hut here, also with more seating and tables. Good variety of that, from the park benches over here to the seats with tables with 4 seats on this side. And then on this side, we just have our other supporting ride. This is Spooks Lot. This was Efteling's Haunted Mansion type attraction. The pathway transitions very nicely here from pretty homogeneous gray to breaking up a little bit into the cobble type pathway, and then from solid gray to broken gray to transitioning into this more brown tiled look. So I like that a lot. This is a nice building. I appreciate that the Haunted Mansion ride itself is sunk in a little bit, so the building doesn't end up so tall that it dominates everything. I mean, you would worry if this building is as tall as the coaster, and this is probably halfway there. So it makes sense. This looks good. I'm liking the little tunnel on the side here, or the little arcades. It looks like there's some arches here. That's a good use of the fence, especially in a different color. Same with this little protruding element of the architecture here with the blue. And then just the vines coming up on the sides really feels like a natural approach. If you look at this from the back side, you have even more little details here. Filled in planter here, and then a pathway all the way back here into the woods. More just kind of gate detailing here. Here's a big gate, and then this other little covered either information placard or park map. And then the reverse signs here, which is an old no custom scenery trick, just to create sort of an entry portal as you go in. But what I really like about this is just how much micro detailing there is. Efteling is a very detailed park. It's one of the nicest theme parks in the world. Unfortunately, I've never had the luck to visit it, but hopefully I can change that soon. But knowing well enough from the pictures and everything just how detailed, how immersive, and how well themed everything is, I think this map captures that quite well. Blending the sort of traditional theme park elements, such as the little huts like this that sell just various snacks and food and things like that, to actual, solid architecture like the station building, like the haunted house building, all of those bits and pieces, while also adding in some of these good planter details, pretty thick foliage while still not blocking anything that you really need to see. Those are the details that I like to see in this. So while it is pretty small, I think there's a lot to look at here, and hopefully you'll download this one and take a look at this at your leisure, because there is quite a bit of detailing to look at through the space. So that's all for this one, but definitely come take a look at this. This is Bob by Faas on New Element. I'll post a link in the description once the New Element site gets back up and running, and definitely download it and take a look. If you'd like to have your own park reviewed, or you have a suggestion for another one you'd like to see, please leave a note in the comments, and I will add it to the list. So until next time, thank you very much for watching.